Hi everyone, welcome back to another bonus workshop inside the 26 Days to Greatness Challenge. And today I'm super honored to have AJ Wilcox here with us to talk about LinkedIn. So AJ is a LinkedIn Ads Pro, and he's also the founder of b2links.com. He founded that ad agency in 2014, specializing in LinkedIn ads, and he managed one of the world's largest ads account on LinkedIn globally, and he's also the host of the LinkedIn Ads Show podcast. And so I'm really honored today to have AJ to share a little bit about the secret sauce on how we can utilize LinkedIn as a platform to grow a business. So AJ, with that being said, thank you for your time today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited to share with everyone.
Awesome. So before we get started talking about the strategy, why don't you take some time, AJ, to share with our audience a little bit more about who you are?
Yeah, so personally, I live with my wife and 4 kids in the state of Utah in the US. And I started out in digital marketing back in college. I knew I wanted to study marketing, and I kind of stumbled onto digital marketing because I loved technology and I loved marketing. And when one of my professors brought in a guest lecturer who was starting to talk about search engine optimization, I went, wow, this is technology plus marketing. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I went up after class and begged that poor man for an internship. And that got me started with doing paid search as well as search engine optimization and building websites and stuff.
Oh, that's so fun. I'm so glad you found something that combined two of your passions. And before we keep going, AJ, I just want to give our audience a quick reminder to make sure you're implementing and taking notes. I got my notebook here. I'm going to grab my pen really quickly because I love taking notes here. So you mentioned search optimize. What was that word?
Oh yeah, search engine optimization. It's like the practice of getting your website to the top of Google when people search.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's a fun practice. It's a lot harder nowadays than it was, 13 years ago.
So it only has to do with websites, the search engine optimization. Okay.
Yeah, making like your website. If you want more traffic from Google for free, it's doing the things on your website that make Google like it more, so it will serve your site up more often.
Okay, so I have so many questions about these kind of things because I'm not a tech person, but okay, anyways, that's so cool. AJ, obviously you're the expert and I would love to learn, and our audience would love to learn more about LinkedIn. So why don't you dive into, talk a little bit about what got you into LinkedIn, like why LinkedIn out of Facebook, Instagram, other platforms? Why did you choose LinkedIn?
Well, it's a really funny story because, I considered myself a search marketer. Like I did everything with Google, and I got hired in about 9 years ago. I got hired into a local company here in Utah that was a business-to-business company, technology company, and I was running all of their digital marketing. And on my very first day and talking to the CMO, my new boss, I laid out all of my marketing strategy, and she said, okay, great, go ahead and execute that. But we also just started a pilot with LinkedIn ads here about 2 weeks ago. So see what you can do with it. And of course, I don't want to look stupid to my new boss. So I saluted and said, yes, ma'am. And then I walked out of her office and went, what is a LinkedIn ads? I've never heard of this before. But I didn't want to look dumb. So I went and started spending some time and investing. And about 2 weeks later, one of my sales reps came up to me and said, hey, AJ, good to meet you. By the way, we are fighting over your leads. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I went, what is he talking about? So I logged into our CRM system where we could see all the leads, and everyone he was talking about was sourced from LinkedIn ads. And I went, that's interesting. This isn't the only advertising I'm doing. So I kind of caught it in the back of my mind, like, oh, maybe this is a channel worth pursuing and learning more about. And fast forward over the next 2.5 years, I grew that to become LinkedIn's largest spending account worldwide. And after that, actually, I ended up getting laid off. And so I went, oh, what do I do? I could go and work for another company who hopefully LinkedIn ads is important for them. Or I could start this ad agency where I get to share what I've learned about LinkedIn ads, spending millions and millions of dollars with as many people as possible. So despite really not liking advertising agencies in general, I started one.
Oh my goodness, AJ, I just love your personality. Like you see something and then you tend to be like just say yes to it and then you figure it out. That is a powerful trait when it comes to success. So I just wanted to mention that because I noticed it with you sharing about your journey. So LinkedIn ads. Okay. So for me personally, like when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I never even like gave LinkedIn even like a chance. I never think like it's a platform where it's for entrepreneurs because I came from a background, like I graduated from Berkeley. And to me, like every of my like college friends, like corporate job people, they use LinkedIn to find jobs. So I thought that was irrelevant to me. So would you like to share some insights and wisdom around that?
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point. People think that LinkedIn is just a platform that you go when you're looking for a job. It's just a resume platform. But
Yeah.
back in 2013, they changed it to become more of a news feed and a content sharing platform, which is great. So now people, you don't go back at once every 6 months to update your resume. Now you go there to interact with people, to have good conversations. And what's so cool is like, all of us marketers were complaining back when Facebook implemented their algorithm, like the famous algorithm back, I think like 2014, 2015. And because it meant that when we share stuff, not very many people see it anymore. But LinkedIn has the same algorithm. They rolled it out like 4 years ago, and it actually gives you more visibility, more traffic. And so LinkedIn's the easiest network in the world to go viral on. And that's so cool for especially entrepreneurs. When you share something out, many more people than quote unquote should be able to see it. And that's great for spreading your personal brand, getting the word out. And it's all free.
What? I still haven't tapped into LinkedIn and I keep hearing good stuff about it. And so why do you say LinkedIn is the easiest network to go viral on? Last question before we get into your
Oh no,
strategy.
fantastic question. So on LinkedIn, when you log in, either from the mobile device or from your desktop, the first thing you have is a news feed. And so 100% of members need a news feed full of items when they log in. But only 3 to 4% of people are content creators on LinkedIn. And so when you create something, you become part of that 4% of the content that needs to be shared out to the 100% of people.
Wow.
So the way the virality works is when you share a post, let's say I have 500 followers or connections,
Yeah.
500 people would theoretically be able to see it. But if any of those hit the like, comment, or reshare button, then LinkedIn goes, oh, there's something of value here. We'll show it out to a portion of their network. So now your content starts getting seen by your network and your network's network, and it all kind of spirals from there as long as people are hitting, especially the commenting is the most important thing you can do.
Oh, that's so good to know. Okay. That's I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. So it's more powerful than Facebook and Instagram sounds like. Okay. All right. So now let's dive into your specific strategy. Like what do you support your clients with when it comes to using LinkedIn ads? Anything that we can utilize for our listeners listening right now?
Yeah, I think it's really helpful to understand what the LinkedIn ads platform is good for. So first off, because we give it everything about us professionally, what company we work for, they know what industry and what size the company is. They know your role, your past experience, your skills. So us as advertisers, we can go in and say something so specific like, I have a product that I only sell to HR decision makers at large companies. And so I can go in and say, you will only see my ad if you are in HR, have a seniority of director or higher at a company with more than 1,000 people in, I don't know, the healthcare industry. You can be so specific. And so even though LinkedIn ads is more expensive than a lot of the other advertising channels, you'll probably pay between about $8 to $11 every time someone clicks on your ad, which is certainly high. When you have a lifetime value of a customer of like, let's say $10,000, $15,000 or more when you close a deal, then LinkedIn ads makes a ton of sense. You're getting very targeted relationships with people for the long term. And this is a platform that this is the only place you'd be able to get access to them.
So it sounds like you are looking for really like very, very targeted, specific audience that you are selling your products or service to.
Yeah, totally.
And like basically like high quality. Instead of quantity, you're looking for quality on
Exactly.
LinkedIn. Got it. Okay. Wow. And this saves time too. Time is like the most valuable currency. And when we can just connect and close deals with these clients, like it just saves so much more time and makes total sense. Okay. So now as someone, okay, could you use me as an example? How can I go on there and start using like the LinkedIn ads for my,
Yes. Uh,
okay.
what I would suggest, if you want to start using LinkedIn ads,
Mm-hmm.
there's an acronym that I like to keep in mind, and
Okay.
it's AMO, AMO. It's like
And,
bring your ammo to social advertising. And it
yeah.
stands for it's the three things that every social ad campaign needs. You
Yeah.
need a target audience, A, you need a message to show them, and you need, O, an offer to get them to take some kind of action.
Yeah.
And I think most people just say, ooh, let me show an ad to my target market that says, click here to talk to sales. Like, this is what we do. And no one wants to, I mean, no one goes on LinkedIn because they want to buy something, from a new vendor. They're there to learn things and have relationships. So instead, if what you do is you say, hey, here's this really valuable piece of content, join our webinar where you're going to learn X, Y, and Z, download this free guide where I teach you how to solve these major pain points you have in your business. Download this cheat sheet that you can hang up in your office and reference. And then you're asking for their personal information. What you're doing is they're getting valuable content from you that solves a pain point, and you get their information so that you can nurture them over a longer period of time. And they're on your email list. You can reach out, and you can even do what's called retargeting, where you show those people ads over a long period of time to just stay top of mind, to remind them of what you do. And then as soon as they're ready for your product or service, you're already top of mind. You've won that battle. So let's actually do this exercise. For audience, tell me, who's your ideal target audience?
Okay, so my ideal clients audience would be like super highly ambitious individuals who have like a calling. They want to create something massive. Could be a business, could be leading a movement. So they have a huge vision and they're super ambitious, and they are currently maybe feeling frustrated and just feeling lack of results. That would be my target audience.
Okay, and
Yeah.
do you have any specifications, like where in their career do they need to be? And are these people from large companies, small companies? Are they professionals, stay-at-home moms, everything in between?
I would say like solo entrepreneurs.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the way I would do it is I would segment this audience by saying if they have a job title of entrepreneur or business owner, and they are of company size myself only, or you might even be able to say like a company size 1 through 10, because a lot of entrepreneurs like to look bigger than their company actually is.
Yeah.
That would get you access to those individuals. And then what you would need is your message, like the ad itself. You would have to speak to them to qualify them, to tell whether they're ambitious, whether they feel like they have that calling, they really want to make a difference in life, whether they're feeling frustrated. And so you'd qualify them through the ad copy.
Okay.
And then I think the offer would probably go a long way here. If you figure, I mean, do you have any sort of like good content that would solve a big problem for these people that they'd find interesting?
So I post a ton of content on Facebook, but I would say it's not like super nicely packaged in a way that is simple and concise. So that's something that I would need to do some planning, I would say, around, and create a piece of content that would just be, direct and answers the pain point.
Yeah. When you could go back and find, here are the top 5 posts that I've ever done on Facebook, and what are their common topics, and why did people like these? And you could maybe combine them or beef them up, something into a more serious, like meaty kind of report or something. That's a great place to start, because you obviously have that data about what people have already liked from you.
So would like writing a piece of article would be a content for LinkedIn?
I would say it would have to be a pretty meaty article because you
Mhm.
are asking for them to give their personal information. So there's this value exchange for them. So as long as it's perceived as being really valuable, I'm willing to give my email address and first name, last name to
Yeah.
you, as long as I get something that's really going to be prescriptive and solve a problem or be really interesting
Okay.
to me. So I
Got.
would think something more like a report or um, I don't know, a how-to kind of guide
Mhm.
that they can't get anywhere else.
Mm. And so for the how-to guide, this content, am I giving it to them already, like just here before asking them for the offer, for the email?
Yeah, you'd gate the offer. So you'd say, here's the piece of content, it'll kind of tease them a little
Uh-huh.
bit. Here's what you're going to
Oh.
learn. Here's what you're going to get out of it. Fill out
Mm.
this form and then we'll email it to you, or then we'll make it available.
Oh. Okay, so the actual content, I will email it to them once I get the information.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a lead gen pretty much.
Yes. And I like
Got it.
that flow, like exactly what you just said. I like it
Yeah.
because if you just say, put an email address in here that qualifies, and then the content is just on the page behind it,
Uh-huh.
you end up getting a lot of like Mickey Mouse's and Chuck Norris's. But if you tell them, put in your email address and we will email to that email address what you asked for, then you're, if they put in a Mickey Mouse email address, then they go, oh, I didn't get the content I wanted. Okay, fine. I'll
Yeah.
go back and put my real information.
Okay, that makes total sense. Okay, so that was the strategy. Pretty much, pretty easy to remember. MO, audience for targeted audience, and then message is something that is super valuable. Have that value exchange and targets like what the pain points are, what the challenges they may be going through, and then you are pretty much presenting a solution to your targeted audience. And then we want to do an offer. So my question about the offer piece, can it work for any type of offer, like get on a discovery call or anything, not just
Yeah.
email? Okay.
Yeah, you can ask a prospect to do anything from an ad. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be willing to, but you can ask anything. So in my mind, you go all the way from offers that are really low in friction, like come and read my blog post,
Yeah.
and you have a really high in friction, like buy something or hop on the phone with someone who might try to sell you. And there's everything in between. What we've found is that if we go to a cold audience, someone who doesn't know who you are, and we
Yeah.
say, buy something from us or hop on the phone with our sales rep, very few people are going to be willing to click on that ad. And it sends the signals to LinkedIn of either shut their ad off because they're not going to earn us any money, or charge them a lot more every time someone clicks. So then you're either not showing at all or you're paying too much. But if you can go in between somewhere where you're going to pay LinkedIn's premium kind of $8 to $11 every time someone clicks, but at least you're going to get an email address out of them. That feels a lot more valuable to me as a marketer. And then you give that to sales or you follow up yourself, and your goal, because they just wanted to download a piece of content because they wanted to learn how to do something. Now, if sales follows up and just says, hey, now's time to get a demo of our product, they're going to go, whoa. But if you follow up with the goal of starting a relationship and a conversation and how can I be of value, then you're earning a relationship over time. And then, of course, at some point that will turn into a sales conversation.
Right. You need that constant exposure before they're willing to buy something from you.
Exactly.
So perfect. Awesome. Oh, that's so good. So we can, like, anyone can just like get started, open a LinkedIn account, and then they can start following the strategy to pretty much grow their business.
Yeah. Yep. If you go to
Mhm,
linkedin.com/ads, anyone can go and start an account as long as you have a budget of at least $10 a day to spend. Anyone can go and do this. And if you want a nice leg up on it, and I can give you these links too, so you can put them like in notes, but there's b2linked.com/checklist. It's the same checklist we use when we onboard a new client. So it's the 8 things you need to get started. So that can help give you a nice little head start. And then I also luckily was selected by LinkedIn to do the LinkedIn advertising course on LinkedIn Learning.
Wow.
And that means it's really, really inexpensive. I think buying the course is like $25, or if you have LinkedIn Premium already, it's free because it's LinkedIn Learning. but that's a really good course to hold your hand and walk you through all the basics of LinkedIn ads.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for bringing that out. Like, and so for being so generous to share that checklist. So AJ, the next piece that I want to ask you, obviously, there's another component in your success that really played a huge role to get to where you're at today. So would you mind sharing a little bit about what that inner mechanics that contribute to your own success on your entire journey?
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of back you up in my story, I got
Mhm.
laid off. And before that, I was never considering starting my own business. I never considered myself an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
My mom was always a stay-at-home mom. My dad has been a VP at a bank, of all places, for like his entire 40-year career. So I didn't have anyone to show me what entrepreneurship was. And so when I got laid off from that position, I went, man, my life is over. Like, what am I going to do if I don't get a job? And what was so interesting is as soon as I kind of got that idea for, wow, you know more about LinkedIn ads probably than anyone on the planet, you can do something here. I went into business because I knew the ad platform really well. I was a really good marketer. But as you very well know, when you go into business for yourself, you're now wearing a lot of hats. I was forced to be a sales guy for the first time, and be an accountant, and be a customer service rep, and all these other things. So really going back to the skill set that I had, I am the worst sales guy on the planet, I would wager. I remember early on, I went and was speaking to a prospective client. And up to
Mhm.
this point, my prices were so low, I was closing 100%. And I went into a meeting and I was so caught off guard because the woman I was speaking with said, okay, cool, give us your pitch. And I had never pitched before. I had just shared value endlessly until people said, okay, cool, what's it going to take to have you do that for us? And I
Mhm.
failed so miserably. It was the first deal I lost. And it was at
Oh,
that point where I said, sales is not for me. I am going to be the one who just shares value endlessly, and I'm not going to reach out and pitch anyone. So the
what?
endless value providing and creation is, I think, the inner mechanic that is that I would say is the most important. At least it was for me,
Wow. I
because
love that.
yeah, and it's because like early on in the company, I knew I wasn't going to be landing clients, but I knew
Mhm.
if instead of trying to reach out and sell people and get clients, if instead I invested in putting on webinars that people would see,
Mhm.
and writing guest blog posts, and speaking at events and training people, and just providing free value, I knew at some
Mhm.
point that would come back. And it certainly has. We still don't do any sort of sales outreach, but we get tons of inbound leads. And so many of the leads we get now were people I talked to 2-3 years ago, you know? So it's just
Yeah.
keep providing value. And if you're in it for the long haul, it will keep building and karma comes back.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I relate to you so much. I don't like sales because I don't like pitching. So like to hear you say that this was your inner mechanics to success, like that's good to know. So just share value and like continuously build that relationship. So like when you are getting on this phone call with the client, they are ready to buy. You don't even need to pitch them because they're ready. They see what you have to offer, and then is this just so natural now for you when you get on the calls and then the client's just like, how much is it?
Yeah, and I also I really hate. I mean, I hate sales, but I also hate the perception of what sales is. And so
Mm,
I know there's this perception that's like, all right, you got to ask all these questions, and at the very end they finally tell you pricing, and
yeah.
and I'm so anti that. I don't like ad agencies. I don't like sales, and I don't want to be perceived as either of those two things. So what I did is I went and published our pricing on the website, so anyone can see. Unlike every ad agency, every B2B company out there, you can go and
Yeah.
see what we charge. And
Oh,
I'm not going to hold you hostage on the phone to answer those questions like, whoa, I'll get to pricing here in a minute, but first let's talk about if this works. You won't find that with me. And I'm sure it probably loses me deals, but I can sleep at night because I feel like I'm providing the value and treating people the way I wish I were being treated.
oh, that's so good. Like, so when anyone who hops on the phone with you, they already know how much it's gonna be. They just need that final like confirmation that you can do this for them. So you don't even need to bring up the money issue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good,
And
AJ.
then you
I'm
get to
learning
jump,
a ton.
then you're jumping in right away talking about strategy. And that's the fun stuff. I hate talking about pricing.
Yeah,
I'd much rather talk about their strategy and their business and
right.
how to grow business.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. I totally wasn't expecting that from. So I'm so glad because most people talk about mindset, which this is a piece about a mindset, like how you pretty much lead, like your style of leadership. So thank you so much for taking the time. And AJ, I hope everyone just like to wrap up what we discussed today. The LinkedIn ads, why it's so powerful is because like AJ was mentioning, there's just a small portion of people who's sharing content right now on the platform, and we can really generate those high quality leads that we can easily build a connection with, and it's like the people that we love working with basically. And then the strategies: ammo, A for audience, M for message, and O for offer. And then AJ's inner secret success is like basically just sharing endless value, continue to pour into people, and when the time is right, they will come to us. It's kind of like attracting people instead of chasing people. That's what I'm getting out of that. AJ, did I miss anything from what you shared?
No, I think you nailed it. I'll just kind of add on to that kind of inner mechanic with search engine optimization, the whole thing that started my career. I really learned because of the principles it taught me. And the principles with search engine optimization, if you know anything about how search engines work, if there's a website that says it's about a keyword, let's say it's California skydiving, and there's another website that's just as relevant, also about California skydiving, the one that Google wants to rank higher is the one that other sites on the internet have linked to. So if this website only has one other website linking to it, and this one has 10, Google will go, cool, the one that has 10 is obviously the higher quality resource, let's show it. And because of that, you are rewarded by getting the word out and having more people know about what you do so that they can link to you. And so I learned that in search engine optimization, and I've carried that through the rest of my business. If you provide value with no strings attached, you teach someone something, they may go on to cite you in an article, and then you get a link from that. They might tell their friends, and then there's this word of mouth where someone just submits a form on the website, and you don't know where they came from, but they came through. So it's just that investing, just everything is an investment, whether it's your time or your money. And while at the beginning of your business, while you have time, invest it in providing value for others, and it will come back the same way that it does with search engine optimization.
And that's such a good point. Like by putting this series together, AJ, like I'm connecting with people just like you, these individuals who are highly successful, these experts, and I realize how small our role is because we're so connected. All of us are so connected. So like if we pour into value into one person, then that's gonna like spread the words of mouth, and it's just like everything just come back to you because we're all connected. It's like a river flowing. It's all gonna flow back to us. So oh my goodness. Thank you, AJ. And I just want to take this time to acknowledge you so much for your generosity with your time and your expertise by coming on and sharing with our audience. And I'm sure that they took away tons of powerful nuggets from you. And if they would love to continue to learn more from you and maybe even like get some support from your ad agency, how can they find you online?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to share with your audience. I hope it was valuable to everyone. And yeah, I'm really easy to get a hold of. If you go to our website, B2Linked, the letter B, the number 2, and then the word linked.com, and fill out the form on any of those pages. You don't go to a sales rep and you don't go to our newsletter. It just goes directly to my inbox. And like I said, I'm not a sales guy. So feel free to reach out, ask anything. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn, but if you want to connect, do make sure that you customize the message that comes to me, so I know that you heard me on Miko's show. So yeah, let's shoot with one of those two.
Oh, that's so great. I just love like the personal touch to your business. Like a lot of times you don't actually connect with the founder of the company. So the fact that people can connect directly to you like that is so powerful. So everyone, I'll include a link to AJ's website and all of his platforms in the same email that this interview and slash workshop went out to. So just go back. And I know AJ, you also have a free gift that you would love to share with the audience today.
Yes, and the free gift is actually the LinkedIn ad startup checklist that I shared. But I will also mention, if that's not enough for you, if you're just like chomping at the bit because you love LinkedIn ads and you just want to learn more, I just launched a podcast, episode 13. Just launched, so probably by the time you get this email, it'll probably be like 14 or 15 episodes in. I go so deep. I treated the podcast like I was training an employee, because I do want it to be a good training material for all of our staff. And so you're getting the exact stuff I would be training internally on. I go deep. I don't pull punches, and there's no fluff. So check out that podcast if that sounds interesting. If you're not into LinkedIn ads, don't listen to the podcast. It will just be like torture.
Oh, it's so amazing. You're giving up so much free value, and I love that. So I'll put the link to your podcast as well as the checklist on the same email as well, so our audience can go and take a look at that. And everyone, please make sure to just implement, like even practice putting that strategy into place. And I see the link that AJ just shared. Thank you. And then, it's all about implementation. It's all about putting into action. And AJ, any last words you would love to share with the audience before we finish this off?
No, just stay hungry and keep learning. Just never be the entrepreneur who got to where they got and then are willing to sit back and rest on their laurels. You have to be hungry and keep learning, and that's how you're going to keep being of value to everyone else. So stay hungry and keep investing.
I love that so much. Thank you, AJ. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow on our next workshop. Take care. Bye, AJ.
See ya.